Hi guys, it has been a really long time since I filmed a vlog for my vlogging channel. I think it's been a few months and I just kind of wanted to come on and kind of update you guys a little bit on what's going on in my life, what's coming up, and yeah, just kind of touch base with you guys on my vlogging channel because I would really love to be more consistent with this channel and film like regular vlogs. But the problem that I'm having in my mind right now is that I really want to start a podcast. I even have the microphone and everything. So that's kind of what I would like to pursue. Rather than being very consistent with like vlogging, I would rather put my time into a podcast because I feel like I have a lot to say. And I would just I like the idea of having a podcast because myself, I listen to them 24/7. I listen to several podcasts per day, whether I'm cooking or cleaning or winding down or going for a walk. I was just at the gym and I was listening to a podcast, of course, and I like to listen to all different things. So my ambition is to start a podcast. So that's why I haven't really invested as much time into my vlogging channel. And I'm not really sure what you guys would prefer in terms of content. If you guys would prefer if I invest more time and more energy into the vlogging channel or a podcast, because I don't know. So yeah, I need to get that started, but I'm procrastinating a lot and I feel like I have no idea how to create a podcast. So I've been watching a few videos and trying to learn a little more about it, but it seems a little bit complicated. So I need to get a little bit of help and then I will start my podcast soon. The last vlog that I posted on this channel, I think I was sitting in this exact spot and I was telling you guys that I wanted to do a 4 weeks clean of no alcohol. And I wanted to actually talk about that today. I don't know why I feel emotional, but I cannot believe it, but it has been almost 5 months since I drank alcohol. Now I do want to say, because I feel like I would be lying if I didn't tell you guys, I had a few drinks over Christmas, New Year. Not very many, but New Year's I spent with Pierre in Perth. We went to a festival and I wanted to drink, so I let myself drink that night. But apart from that, I have been sober for 5 months now. And I kind of just wanted to come on and tell you guys how it's been going and why I decided to stop drinking alcohol. I did want to make a super in-depth podcast about this topic, which I still will. I think it will be probably the first podcast that I post because it's something that I feel really passionate about and something that has affected my life so much since the moment that I started drinking. Alcohol has been a very negative and toxic thing in my life personally. So the reason that I wanted to stop drinking is exactly what I said in my last vlog. I just wanted to see how I felt after not drinking for 4 weeks, because to be honest, I could not remember the last time that I went more than 2 weeks without drinking alcohol. Which sounds really bad and I don't want to judge myself for it, but alcohol is such a normal thing in our society. So I feel like it's almost weird if you don't drink on the weekends and you don't drink in general. So myself, I noticed that Pierre and we drink a lot on the weekends. Too much. I am definitely somebody who is more of a binge drinker. My relationship with alcohol has been to binge drink. And in the past as well, I have never told this on my social media ever, but I did struggle with alcoholism for a few months in 2019. I was actually an alcoholic for several months. I went through a lot of trauma the middle of 2019. And my rebound from all of that trauma was alcohol. That was the only way that I could kind of cope with life. And so I turned to alcohol and it was I never thought in my entire life that I would struggle with an addiction to alcohol, like an actual addiction where as soon as you wake up, you drink, you're hiding it from people, you're drinking all day until you pass out. I never thought I would ever experience that in my life, but I did. And it was so scary, and you're so consumed by this drug that it was just, it was terrifying. So I went through that in 2019, and obviously I managed to overcome it. But my relationship with alcohol in general, since the second that I started drinking, has always been really, really bad. In my family, I have a few alcoholics, including my real dad. He was an alcoholic, and actually that's how he died. He was in the UK, and he was drunk. He came from the pub and he got on his motorcycle and had a head-on collision, and that's how he died when I was 10 years old. So besides my dad, there is a few other like alcoholics in my family, so I've always grown up around people that have issues with alcohol. And I feel like it can either go two ways when you grow up with people in your life that struggle with alcohol addiction or issues with alcohol. I feel like you can either steer completely away from alcohol and you're like, fuck that, I don't want to drink, look at what it does to people, or you can unconsciously adopt those same habits. And I was like that. I feel like I ended up having this really bad relationship with alcohol, since the second that I started drinking, from binge drinking to blacking out all the time to using it as a coping mechanism. I was using alcohol big time as a coping mechanism my whole entire life. So when I would feel stressed or in social situations especially, I would drink, and the amount of problems that it brought to my life is just insane. And the reason, coming back to why I stopped, was not for actually anything so bad. I had tried to stop drinking alcohol so many times in my past, I cannot tell you guys. It is almost humiliating. When I think about it, I felt so much shame because I tried to quit alcohol so much in my past. Up until like last year, I tried to quit, and I even had the sober app on my phone to kind of track the days that I hadn't had a drink, and I always failed. And I think I can understand the reason why I failed every single time. I would always try to stop drinking off the back of like a fuck up, like whether I would drink way too much and embarrass myself, whether it be an argument that I would have with Pierre, whether it would be a super bad hangover, because I have had some really, really terrible hangovers in my life. The worst one being, I think it was like around 2 years ago, and I literally could not get out of bed for 2 complete days. Like I slept for 2 complete days, no food, nothing. I just could not bring myself to getting out of bed. My hangover was so bad, and I just remember feeling that way, and it was just horrible. So at any time in the past that I had tried to stop drinking, it was because of a bad traumatic kind of situation. But this time that I stopped drinking, and you guys will see if you watch that vlog, I had an amazing day actually. I had an amazing day with my friend Vanessa. I had an amazing night with Ondrash from Amouage. We had a great time, like it was fantastic. I felt okay the next morning, a little bit groggy, but pretty much okay. And I just told myself I want to try doing 4 weeks with no alcohol to see how I feel, because at that point in my life I was running quite a lot, and I wanted to see if it would improve my running, if it would improve my mental health. I just wanted to attempt it. And I managed to do the 4 weeks. It was kind of difficult at some point. We ended up going to a very big like gala event in Dubai, and that night everyone was drinking, and it was quite a big event with a lot of people from the fragrance industry, and I felt quite socially anxious, and my immediate reaction was to go and take a drink. And thankfully, Pierre, he encouraged me. He was like, no, you don't need a drink. We're not going to be here for too long. You don't need one. It's okay. You will be fine. Just grab yourself a Diet Coke and you'll be okay. And thankfully I didn't drink that night, and I have the support of Pierre, and I managed to get through like 2 kind of social events that I felt really anxious at without drinking alcohol. And once I had completed those 4 weeks, I felt I cannot tell you guys, I felt unstoppable. Once I had finished 4 weeks of no alcohol, I felt unstoppable, especially because before I completed the 4 weeks, I was sure I was gonna fail. I was like, there's no way that I can go 4 weeks without alcohol. There is no way, it's not possible. And once I did complete it, the confidence that that brings to you as a person is really, really amazing. As a human being, when you complete challenges that you set for yourself, it immediately boosts your confidence. So that's what happened to me. And after those 4 weeks, I kind of just said to myself, and I looked at my relationship with alcohol and I was like, do I even want to drink anymore? Like, do I even want to drink? I have achieved more and I have never felt so good within these 4 weeks than I do right now. So why do I need to continue down the path of drinking alcohol? What's the purpose of it? So I just kind of continued, and I will tell you guys a few of the things that shocked me the most about not drinking. One of them was the improvement. Oh shit, there was a bird. Oh my gosh. I will show you guys. Oh, it's gone. A massive bird just like came on the windowsill. One of the biggest things that I noticed with not drinking was the improvement of my mental health, which is super important for me because I have struggled with mental health issues for a really, really long time. Like since I was about 14 years old, that's when I started to develop anorexia. So ever since then, I really suffered with mental health issues, like consistently throughout my life. I can't remember the last time that I didn't have a mental health issue, which I know that it's pretty common for people to suffer with anxiety and depression. So I'm sure that there are some of you watching, but I will tell you right now, not drinking alcohol helped my anxiety more than I would ever expect. And if I knew that from several years ago of how much it would help my anxiety, I would have stopped alcohol a long time ago because I really was not expecting it. Another thing that I was not expecting about not drinking was how much my social life improved. Now, I know that's so crazy because when you think about your social life and meeting with friends, you always kind of pair it with like going to a bar, going for drinks, having dinner with drinks, etc. But I will tell you right now, my social life has never been better because I'm still kind of struggling making friends in Dubai, but I feel like it has drastically improved from when I was drinking alcohol. I now go for coffees, I go for walks with people, I go for a breakfast with people. I'm doing things that don't need to be associated to alcohol, and I feel so good doing that because I will tell you something, and maybe if you've struggled with alcohol addiction, you will relate to what I'm about to say. Or maybe if you've suffered with just being really lonely in your life and really isolated or not having any friends. But myself, I have never really had very many friends in my life, like at all. I've never been the sort of person to have a best friend to call when I'm like struggling with life or I just need some advice on a guy. I've never had that ability to just call someone and be like, hey girl, like what's up? I need some. I have never been like that. And I don't know why, but I always put it down to the fact that I was not a likable person. That's always what I told myself. I was like, I must not be likable. If I don't have any friends, it must be something with me. And so to kind of counteract that, whenever I would meet with friends, I would drink a lot because I was like, when I drink alcohol, I'm much more funny, I'm much more exciting, I'm much more open, I'm much more bubbly, I'm much more everything. So I would always tell myself that I needed alcohol to meet with friends because I just felt this deep insecurity in myself, which I still kind of have to this day. That I am not a likable person and that's why I have no friends. So I always kind of put those two and two together. And when I stopped drinking, so like now, I have been able to see people for a coffee without alcohol and just catch up and just talk and just enjoy the experience because I for a really long time, you guys, like every time I would see a friend, I would make sure that it was at night, we could drink, we could kind of get drunk together. It would be more fun. I would be myself, I would be bubbly. And I feel like that is just such a toxic cycle. Like it was actually to the point where I couldn't meet with people unless there was alcohol involved. Like I would never go for a walk with somebody or go to a coffee. I would literally never do that because I just needed alcohol as my security blanket for forever. So yeah, I've always had this really damaged and really bad relationship with alcohol, not to mention all of the things in my past, but this is another thing I will talk about on my podcast. But I have been in a car accident. I have done some really crazy stuff under the influence of alcohol. And the amount of times that I have blacked out from alcohol is just insane. Also, the embarrassment and the shame that you feel the next day, the anxiety, I do not miss this feeling at all. I got into so many just stupid fights with Pierre that I don't even remember. In my mind, I don't even remember them, but I would get into fights and I would wake up the next day and I would see his face looking at me like super angry, and I would be like, oh my gosh, what have I done what did I do last night? And just so many things that just could have been avoided if I didn't drink alcohol. So that is kind of a little brief story about my time not drinking alcohol. Now I do think that I will continue down this like sober path, because I really feel much better than I did when I was drinking alcohol. But I'm not sure how I feel about never drinking again. I don't know, maybe you guys can give me some advice if you guys are sober. Like, do you miss it? Do you feel like you want to drink again? What is your relationship like now without alcohol? Because I really feel like I am doing way better in life. I'm not perfect. I'm still struggling with depression and anxiety, but the anxiety has reduced like dramatically, which is absolutely incredible, especially when you do suffer with like severe anxiety. Not experiencing that is really, really amazing. So yeah, tell me guys, what do you think about it? I have thought about like reevaluating my relationship with it and maybe considering drinking on special occasions or kind of when I feel like, but then I don't want it to become like a slippery slope again to drinking every single weekend and just finding reasons to drink, because I feel like I will then spiral back down. So I don't know, I just kind of wanted to update you guys on that, and I cannot wait to make a podcast and just talk more openly and more in depth about some crazy shit, like crazy stuff that has happened to me. And in 2019, like I said, some very traumatic things happened, and I will talk about them on my podcast. I don't really feel like doing a video about it, to be honest, but I would like to talk about it on my podcast because yeah, it was a hectic year for me. So yeah. Anyway, I think I will show you guys a few fragrances before I close off the vlog that I got this week. I have quite a few more fragrances that I received in the last 2 weeks, like the New Kayali, the Yum Pistachio Gelato. I got quite a few other fragrances. I got some from Strange Love, I got some from Xerjoff, I got some from a few different companies, but I wanted to just maybe show you guys a few that I got. I finally got a bottle of Gozo from Jeroboam. They kindly sent 3 of their fragrances to me that I requested because I absolutely love them. The first one obviously is Gozo, which I'm so happy to have a bottle of this. It's such a unique, like floral, spicy, it's very like zingy in a way. Like there's something, I don't know how to explain it, but there's something like zingy about it. It's very interesting. I don't even know how to describe it, but it is an amazing floral fragrance. I haven't smelled anything like this. I have nothing comparable to this in my collection, so I'm really happy to have it. Then I have Unu, which is a fragrance that is so under the radar from Jeroboam that I don't really understand why. This is the most beautiful, gorgeous wedding day fragrance, absolutely a wedding day scent for me. Not because the bottle is white, which maybe it's like a placebo effect, but it's just beautiful. It's like musky, it's floral but not too much. It's very smooth and sandalwoody and creamy. but fresh at the same time. It's super comforting. And I was looking at some reviews on Sniff, and I think that people compare this fragrance to Samsara, like that they say that this is like the best version that never happened of Samsara. So that's an interesting one if you guys liked Samsara back in the day. I don't think that they smell exactly the same, but this is just incredible, you guys. Definitely a wedding day fragrance. And then I also have a Boa, which I love. I heard that this is like the worst seller of the brand. I absolutely love this. It reminds me a little of like Hypnotic Poison, but even better, if I can say that. It's like got that plasticky doll head sort of smell, which I love. It's sweet. It has that, yeah, like that like bitter almond sort of note. It's very, very good, very interesting. It won't be for everyone, but if you like those sort of fragrances that smell a bit like a doll head, try this fragrance because I think it's the best one that I've tried. I also got Apollonia from Xerjoff. This is the most beautiful musky fragrance ever. Like the quality of the musks in here are on another level, really. And I'm so happy to have it. Not to mention the bottle is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, Apollonia, wow. I'm gonna say something, but maybe it's gonna sound absolutely insane. I know that this is a musk fragrance, like it's musky, it's quite powdery, it has something really sexy about it, but on the skin when I was wearing it, in the air or something, it reminded me of Noir de Noir from Tom Ford, but like a stripped back version. So don't think that it smells exactly like Noir de Noir because it doesn't. It's musk, iris, orris, maybe some rose. It's beautiful, like absolutely beautiful, but it did remind me a little bit in the air of like Noir de Noir for some reason. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous musk fragrance, really high quality, just absolutely gorgeous. Then I also got Siberian Rose from Fragrance du Bois. I've wanted Siberian Rose for quite a while now, so I asked them if they could send me a bottle. This is a beautiful white floral that feels quite coconutty and quite exotic. It definitely doesn't smell like something I've never smelled before in my life, but it is really gorgeous. It has a bit of leather. It has that really creamy, smooth feeling. Oh, it's just wonderful. And my camera's about to die, so I'm going to quickly show you guys. I have Chiron from Terenzi. 10 out of 10 gourmand. I'm going to talk about this one on my YouTube. This is an amazing gourmand scent. And then I also got one from Jardins de Parfum, but this is a PR package for Women's Day. This is Baccarat. That's all I'm going to say. That is it, guys. Thank you for watching this little vlog. I love you so much, and let me know if you want me to continue with the vlogs or switch over to the podcast, because like I told you guys, I have so much that I want to talk about and so much life experience that I think I can share in my short 24 years on this world, on this universe, on this planet. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you very soon.